And welcome back to the Barry Foster Show. Remember, if you have any thoughts, ideas, or suggestions, you can just post them right here below. We'll be glad to answer them. And if you have any ideas for programs, we'll be glad to hear about those too. We have Sandra and myself, and we're going to do another Florida fun travel for our recent trip out to New Smyrna Beach, where we had a chance to go and stay for a few days with Sandra's sister and brother-in-law, and Charles and Judy. It was a lot of fun out there.
Oh, yes, it was.
We stayed at the Coconut Palm 2, which we stayed at the Coconut Palm in the past, I think. First time we had a first floor suite. This time we had a second floor suite, and we had a much better view of the ocean up there.
Yes, I always like being higher. But it's also nice to have a full balcony with a view of the beach.
Well, yeah, we had chairs out there and tables. We could sit out there and have a little something to drink, enjoy. It was nice because on the Atlantic coast, you face towards the east. So as the day goes on, you get more and more shade. And sitting out there in the shade with a little breeze was very nice. It was a little warm in the morning, but as the day wore on, it got to be nicer and nicer out there.
One of the nice things was that we had the two-bedroom condo unit, and it had a full kitchen. And the two bedrooms had enough space between them that if you had someone who snored, or if somebody wanted to stay up late and watch TV or whatever, there was no noise carrying on between the bedrooms.
It was really bright. There was a bright. It had the glass doors that went all the way across the front. Charles and Judy got the front bedroom with the king size bed. But boy, I'll tell you, that thing, when the sun came up, you were up because it was very, very bright. Sandra and I got the bedroom in the back, and we were a little closer to the hallway and a chance to hear the people kind of coming and going. But it also kind of shielded us from the sun first thing in the morning when the sun first came up.
They got the larger, better bed this time, because the last couple of times that we've been with them, Charles was having some issues with his hip or knee, and stepping over the bathtub was more difficult, so the showers that were lower entry was a better deal. So this time, it was their time to have the top master bedroom, and ours was really nice, though. It had a good shower and a good bathroom. Both of these were nice this time.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an older property, but it's still very nice, and had a full kitchen. Both you and Judy had a chance to cook some things up and to make coffee in the morning. I mean, just about anything you wanted to make, you could have made in that kitchen.
It was well stocked with both the glassware, cups, dinnerware, pots, pans, bowls. It was very well stocked.
It was basically like an apartment. We had a chance to stay up there. It was fully air conditioned, very nice. Even with the sun blazing in, the air conditioning worked very well. So we're pretty happy about that.
Well, and our temperatures there were actually in the mid to I think 88 was the top temperature that we had, while their temperature at home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and their daughter's temperature in Pennsylvania was at least 10 degrees higher each day.
Our suite overlooked a little pool, and it was really interesting because the pool was never deeper than 4 feet. It was like 3.5 on both ends and 4 in the middle. So children were out there playing and could easily stand up in the pool, but there was plenty of room if you wanted to take a little raft out there and drift around. You could do that too. But it was very interesting to me that the pool really, in all respect, was not that deep.
But the best thing also from that master bedroom was that you had a view of the ocean. And you could hear the waves if you pulled open the sliding glass. And even from the kitchen, when you were preparing the food, you had a great view of the ocean. And there's just nothing like being able to see the ocean.
Well, Sandra and I have been to both coasts. We've both been out to the Gulf, and and out to the Atlantic. And it's interesting that on the Atlantic, you just don't see the traffic that you see on the Gulf side. Now, when we were there, we saw some very large ships. There was like a container ship that we saw, and Charles and Judy saw a shrimp boat late at night one night. There was some pleasure craft that went out there, but not nearly as much as what you see on the Gulf. I mean, on the Gulf, and I saw one guy on a paddleboard, which I thought was, he was quite skilled, because on the Atlantic side, the waves are a lot more stealth than they are on the Gulf side, so it takes a little more to stay on the paddleboard. But we did see a little bit more in terms of human-borne traffic, both boats, and we saw a couple of airplanes that went by as well.
Yes. And there was quite a lot of, they allowed cars on that beach, and people would come in with their vehicle and then set up pop-ups and other tenting devices and be there for the day.
There was a group from Tennessee that sat up right behind us, and we could tell because all three pop-ups were orange, and one had the big Tennessee T on it, and they were out there in 3 days. And they had a big to-do. And the thing was that we also, they had a couple of barbecue grills downstairs. We saw some guys barbecuing some chicken out there for their friends, and there was some tables and pop-up tents around the pool where you could eat. So you had plenty where you could do right on the property there, or you could go out if you felt like it.
And it was a very short walk down to the beach from our area, and they had it well marked, and it was a nice, easy walk down to the beach.
Speaking of traffic, we did see birds. You see a lot more pelicans on the Atlantic side. I was watching the pelicans skimming the ocean and diving in looking for birds or looking for fish. There were other kind of birds as well. There's some gulls out there. And
one morning, Judy spotted some dolphins and called us out to the deck to watch the dolphins for a while.
Yeah, it was an amazing show, and we'd sit out there and watch. And much of the time, it'd be very tranquil, not much going on out there. But so when you did see things, it was very interesting. And the gulls, once in a while, would come over us. I didn't get a good shot this time, but it was a wonderful place to stay for an interval vacation. And we were there 3.5 days, I'd say, and it was a great place to stay. You know, when we were out there, we didn't always eat inside the condos. In fact, the first place we went to is a place we've been to before, which is Norwood's, which is a place in New Smyrna Beach where you can be in the trees. It is a tree house restaurant, and it's a lot of fun, and the food is really good. When we were up there, there was a guy playing a guitar, a little troubadour playing guitar. They have 3 bars there in Norwood's, and of course there's one upstairs. And so in the background we could hear this guy singing. It wasn't too loud, but we could sit up there and talk. And I had a burger. I think you had a chicken, and Judy had the portobello mushroom, which was a very large mushroom, and she said it was really good.
Yes, she really enjoyed it, and it was stuffed and had small red and yellow tomatoes on the side with interesting mix of salads.
We've eaten up there during the day mostly. If you go to Florida Fun Travel, you'll see that our last pictures of Norwood's have Christmas decorations. It was a little brisk that day. But where you sit up there, you have a view of Route 44, kind of the cars going by, and on the other side you can kind of see people coming through the parking lot. But it's a breezy area. It's nice. You're up among the limbs. We didn't have any birds come by this time. In the past, birds have come and lit on the banister beside us up there.
Small sparrow type birds.
Looking for some crumbs, looking for a few handouts. We didn't have any this time.
In the summer, they have a nice fan up there that circulates the air. And in the winter, they have a heater, a large triangular heater that sits up there to make it a little warmer. But it's well worth the warm or the cold to be up there. And they don't allow dogs or children up there because it is quite a little climb up there. They do have an elevator so that someone who's having mobility issues could still come up. But it's just a fun spot to be. They do have an outdoor seating area downstairs, and then they have the indoor, lots of indoor seating, and they seem to stay really, really busy.
We have been indoors when it was raining outside, but I can't see going to Norwoods and not being outside. But they have a couple of great selfie areas. They have a little double bed with big cushions and says Norwoods on it, and there's some chairs where you can sit that has the Norwood branding, and so there's some places you can go. But it's, if you go to New Smyrna Beach, it's one of the places that you need to go is Norwoods. Because you can send pictures. Hey, we're dining amongst the trees.
And Charles, though, not everybody had a sandwich. Charles had the soup, the
Chowder.
Chowder, and then he had shrimp and with a salad. It was a salad base, and then a bowl full of shrimp, which he said was very good.
Everything was quite good, and we had good wait staff too.
Oh yes,
and that's half the battle right there. But it was, and we were in and out pretty quickly.
And she volunteered to take a picture of all of us as we were leaving,
on
which
the
is always
walkway.
a nice treat.
Yeah. She could you take, and we handed her the different phones, so everybody got a picture of themselves. Another place that we go, which is not in New Smyrna Beach, it's a little bit up the road. It's in Ormond Beach. It's called DB Pickles, and it's a place that Sandra and I found quite by accident. One year we were going up to the Roar before the Daytona 24, the IMSA race, and we were looking for a place to eat, and we stumbled on DB Pickles. And I remember we were sitting in the parking lot, and you were looking at the menu online before we decided whether we were going to go in or not.
Well, so many of the places we had tried because we were there for the races. You were covering the races, and we were late getting out. And when we started looking for restaurants, quite a few of them had closed already. And so we were in that parking lot, and I was looking to make sure they were open and to see if it was the type of food that we'd be interested in eating.
This is a restaurant that is really interesting because it has something for everyone. They have a really nice bar. If you drink, there's a great bar there with a big TV set that you can watch. There's a huge bakery with cakes and pies and cookies and brownies, and then of course a restaurant which has a wide variety. I mean, whatever kind of cuisine you like, they have it for you, whether it's Italian or Greek or American, and every day has a different special. And the first day we went up there, the special was either chicken or roast beef, right? And
over a hot chicken and roast beef sandwiches, I think is how they listed it, but it had mashed potatoes, that classic, and they always put a lot of meat on all the things that they serve you. And then it had a side of green beans that were a little more Asian style, not really soft and cooked a lot like they are Southern style.
Yeah, I had the baked ziti. Everybody else had the special of the day, but and the baked ziti was quite good. And we had great wait staff. Doris was our wait girl, and she took very good care of us. And it's nice to be able to have a waitress who will check back on you, but not be annoying.
And they also, the special included a soft drink to go with it. But the big deal there is the pickle bar. And in previous times when we stayed, they had a very small plastic cup that you could go and go to the pickle bar by yourself and choose your pickles. But now they bring it to the table. You get one choice of the pickle bar, and they have a little card that tells you the different kind of pickles that they have. And then they'll bring it to you. For $1, you can have any and all of the pickles there, one at a time, $1 for each pickle choice you have. They have the 3-bean salad. They have just regular dill pickles. They have just so many different pickle things. But the one that the group liked the most was what they had called a broccoli pasta. salad.
Yeah, you got the beets, and
I
I
got-
got the broccoli pastas. We did not get pickles. And the sad thing about the pickles is they do not have bread and butter pickles.
They also, though, that day I got the 3-bean and the beet pickles. And every pickle that I've had there has been really good.
But hence the name DB Pickles. The first time we went, I was certain it was part of a chain, but it's a one-off. It's a one of a kind restaurant, and it's over in Ormond Beach. There, it's I think it's off Nova Boulevard, and it's a wonderful little place to eat where they have just all different kinds of food. It's reasonably priced as well, and they have good wait staff, and I don't think we can recommend it enough. Another place we had a chance to eat while we're talking about places we went is we went to Aunt Catfish. Now this is a place that Charles and Judy had been to before because they go to the they go to the NASCAR races, and I thought a place like Aunt Catfish. Neither Sandra or I are really fish people, and I thought, well, we'll go if they like the fish. But I was really surprised because they also have a wide variety of food. But if you're not a seafood type person, you can. I got a really nice. We both had chicken. You had the pecan encrusted chicken, and I had the regular chicken. Now the thing about the pecan encrusted chicken that I was really surprised about is that you got 2 huge patties, and even the chicken that I got there was quite a bit. Well, it seems like every place that we go, they have generous portions, and Aunt Catfish was no exception.
The portion they gave you in the pecan crusted chicken was huge, and in fact, there were 2 slices of the chicken, and one would have been more than enough for a sandwich. And then you had fries as well, and you had tomato and lettuce and onion if you wanted it on your sandwich. But the big deal is the hot food bar, what they call the fixins.
Yeah, they call it all the fixins, and they have just about everything on there that you can imagine. They have coleslaw, they have broccoli salad, they have potato salad, they have cinnamon stewed apples, and they have cheese grits to choose from. And you can go back to that little bar as many times as you want.
And it seems that any meal that you order there, you get those fixins with it.
Yeah, you get one side, like I got the sweet potato fries because I knew there wouldn't be quite as many, and I didn't want to eat fries. Charles got the regular fries, and they gave you a big portion of those. So you had the side, you had all the fixins, and you had the cinnamon roll as well.
Your sweet potatoes came with a pineapple relish that you could dip it in that was very interesting. I thought it was okay, but you didn't seem to like having that sweet with the potato.
It was very sweet, and I kind of like, and the way they cut the sweet potato fries, they were a little crunchy, so they were good. And so I didn't feel like I had to add anything to it. But with yours, you got a mango salsa for your chicken that was quite interesting. It had a little bit of cilantro. It wasn't really hot. It was a little spicy, but not too bad at all.
Well, it had neither Judy nor I liked the cilantro with it, but the mango was nice. It would have been better without the cilantro.
Yeah, it was quite good, and we got there just in time. We were told it was going to be like a 25-minute wait. It was more like a 5-minute wait. But when we left, they were lined up out the door. I mean, it was a very, very popular place.
From opening to close, they always seem to have a wait. They're just a very, very popular place and have been there for years.
Well, not only do people drive in, but it's one of the places, it's right there on the Intercoastal Waterway. People sail their boats in and come in and eat and then just go back out and go sailing again. And the day we were there were quite a number of boats parked up there as well. At the end of the dock, Aunt Catfish, like all good places, has self-promotion. They have a wonderful selfie spot with a giant catfish hanging like a trophy fish with Aunt Catfish's logo across the top, where you can stand and have your pictures made. So they've got that. They've got little vending machines along the dock where you can feed the fish, and the fish all know this. So the fish and the birds hang around there, so they can get fed. And by the way, did you rub the old the lucky catfish there on the way in?
No.
They have a picture of a catfish, and it is quite well worn. You get one. It's the wish fish, and you rub this fish, and it grants you a wish. I have. We have to see what the numbers are, but I rubbed the old lucky to see if we get the right numbers for the lottery, but that has yet to be found out.
But Charles didn't have a sandwich. Once again, Charles had a chowder.
Yes.
And was it shrimp again?
Yes.
That seems to be his go-to, but he was very happy with what he had selected.
Well, the places that on the Atlantic and over on the Gulf always have good fish, obviously, and so Charles and Judy are fish people. So, but they also recognize that there are people who come along with the group who are not fish eaters, like we are not fish eaters. So they always have something really good that we can dine on, and the atmosphere. We had a great waitress, and all the waiters and the waitresses there are cousin Bill, cousin Annie, cousin whoever, and that says, "Oh, I'm cousin so and so," and so you have to remember their name after the cousin, so you can get your wait person back. But it's there's a lot of sizzle. They sell a lot of zazz at that place.
Well, and it seemed like a lot of the wait staff was not young chicks either. Most of them were middle-aged ladies or even older.
But with a place like that, as we said, it was busy when we went in and even busier when we left. And so you have to be on your game. You have to be able to remember what people ordered, get it in, get it out. And I remember I asked Betty, they had a lady there making these cinnamon rolls. And I said, well, how many of these do you make a day? She says, about 3,000. About 3,000 of these rolls a day. And they had her and a helper who was putting put the cinnamon glaze on there. So it was a wonderful. It's an entertaining thing to watch, and they had things, as I say, for you to do while you're waiting. They had a few signs that pagers don't work beyond this point, so you can only go so far. But they had some of these tube slides. If you had kids, you could sit up there and let them go to the tube slides. And in the back there was a little area, maybe 10 by 10 wooden structure with a roof on it, where they would have probably in the evenings again a guy with a guitar, and they would have some music on the outside, so you could sit out there. And they also had a nice little bar. And in fact, you guys waited at the bar while we waited for them to call our names. But you could sit out there. So, and along the intercoastal, there'd be quite a bit of traffic, so you could kind of watch the boats go by while you're waiting for them to call your name. So there's quite a bit to see and do there as well.
Well, another really interesting thing was that they were accommodating walkers and wheelchairs very easily. There were quite a lot of people there with walkers and wheelchairs, so I suppose that they have the word out that they will accommodate people with disability.
Yeah, if you have ambulatory issues, you can go there as well. One place that we stopped, actually two places that we stopped, were Steve's Famous Restaurant, and we've been there in the past, and they are noted for their baked goods. So we stopped at their, I think it was the South Nova location first one day, and picked up a loaf of bread and some muffins for us to have for breakfast in the morning.
Well, we always usually have breakfast at our condo or wherever we're staying, and so the bread is just wonderful. It's a huge loaf, and they make it fresh every day, and we slice it and then toast it for breakfast. But they also have these huge muffins. And Judy and Barry like the cranberry nut muffin that they have, but they have peach, they have banana, they have blueberry, and they have
pistachio,
and that's a good one.
Pistachios are easy to spot because they're green. Okay, but the girls went in and got us some muffins and got us a loaf of bread, and we ate that. But then it's a kind of a tradition now. When we leave, we always stop at the Steve's up there on Atlantic Boulevard, the one that's on the beach, and have breakfast there before we leave. And I got to tell you that I had the Greek omelet. It was wonderful. I mean, it is opened by Greeks, and they know exactly how to make a Greek omelet. And I'm a kind of a big fan of feta cheese and spinach. So we had that, and they had big tater tots, but they were really good. Usually the smaller ones, I prefer the smaller ones, but they had the bigger ones, and they were very excellent. And it just it seems more places are serving tots now. They have because they want tots
For breakfast,
Yeah, you
yes.
want French fries or hash browns or the other one. There's hash browns and
Home fries.
home fries. Thank you. And or now they add for tots, and of course I opted for the tots. And they were well. Everything at Steve's is another place where you go where you know it's going to be good.
And you had a slice of Steve's bread.
Yeah,
It came with the breakfast.
It came with the breakfast, and again, you're really full when you leave.
And the other three of us, Charles, Judy, and I, had the southern half biscuit gravy and
Eggs.
2 eggs, whatever style you wanted them. And your choice of meat, of course, we love bacon, so all three of us had bacon. And you really had a nice full plate of food there. And we all pretty well cleaned our plates.
I was glad to see Daytona Beach coming back. When we were there for Christmas, it was pretty bleak. There was a lot of hotels that still had the walls down from where the hurricane hit. They were still doing refurbishment, a lot of empty storefronts. And even in just the short time between Christmas and now, when we came back, it seemed where a lot of painting had been done, a lot of the stores had filled in, and it looks like Daytona is really kind of coming back now. And I was really, really, really glad to see that.
Well, the big thing when we were staying at Christmas, and an issue they have there as well as over on the Gulf, is the pools. It seems like the way the water comes in during the hurricanes, that the pools are undermined. And at Christmas, that was one of the reasons we had a really great deal on a room, was because the pool was not open. And so it seems that a lot of people have to have the pool.
Well, when we stayed at that Fantasy Island one time, they were afraid of not only losing the pool, but losing the entire structure. We went back to check on it. Charles took us over, and the pool has been fixed. It's full of water. The ocean has receded quite a great deal. Before it was right up on us, and so it looks like things have settled down a bit.
And the sad thing was, they kept saying the issues both on the Atlantic and over on the Gulf was that it was permitting, that they couldn't get the permit to allow their construction people to start construction and redoing what needed to be done to get the pool functional. But I am amazed, because for us, the pool doesn't have a big attraction other than walking around it, maybe sitting out there in the shade of the umbrellas and having coffee. We very rarely ever go to the pool.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that going out to Daytona this time, if you want to walk the beach, it's got a long beach where you can walk. There's a lot to see and do. We watched some guys out there doing some fishing, watched some water traffic and some animals. We had three great places to eat that we can recommend, whether it's Aunt Catfish, whether it's Norwood's, DB Pickles, and of course Steve's famous restaurant, whether it's New Smyrna Beach, Ormond Beach, or Daytona. There's a lot of great places to eat.
And so we really were in multiple places: Daytona Beach, New Smyrna
Orange Beach,
and,
Orange City,
and Ormond
Beach, Holly Hill. I mean, there's a lot of little burgs as you go through there, and each one has its own interest, and they all have little shops. You found a great shop, and you found cat cards, and had a nice chat with the manager in the women's shop there.
Well, the lady who was the artist that did the cards.
It was called the Treasure Cove.
Treasure Cove.
It was called the Treasure Cove, and it was there in Ormond Beach. And she did a wonderful job on these cards. And they're made in USA, but her name is Tammy Miller.
She had cancer, and during the time that she was recovering from cancer, she taught herself to draw. And so she has some wonderful drawings on her cards, and a lot of them have to do with encouraging people who are having chemo about losing their hair and the other things you go through with chemo. And one of them that we really loved was a card that was encouraging people to allow their friends to help them during this time. And that was one that was very, very nice. And then another set she did, and she said the reason she did these after she did the cards about chemo was she had lost her cat, and so she did a series of cards about losing your cat, and just really neat cards. And my sister Judy is a big card person, and she sends out a lot of cards, so she was excited to find so many nice cards. The cat card: when we lose a furry friend, their spirit remains near, waiting patiently until our heart begins to sing again. But those, because we are having times when we help with volunteer for cat rescue and cat adoptions, that sort of thing. These cat cards, of course, attracted me.
If you want to find them, you can find them at Tanny Miller. It's Tani, Tanny Miller, MILLER.com. And all of her work is up there. If you want to order them online, you can get them online. Just tell them you heard about it from Sandra and Barry at Florida Fun Travel. So that's our latest travel, and we will keep you informed as to other places we go. If you think there's places we should go and things we should report on, please let us know in the comments below, and we'll answer you back. Okay? Appreciate it so much. So for Florida Fun Travel, this is Sandra and Barry, and we'll see you next time.